Yeah, landing in your physical body, in physical sensation, trying to stay present with yourself for the whole time that we're moving and working out so that you are, it's easy to space out, but just trying to not do that. One more second. Let me just do one more thing. So tuning into your breath, feeling what it feels like, feeling the rise and fall of your breath. In the Laban work, we talk about like growing and shrinking with the breath. It's this natural expansion and release is happening all the time with your breath. So tuning into that sensation, growing and shrinking with the breath. And it's nice actually to kind of exaggerate it so that you feel yourself getting bigger and then you feel yourself getting smaller, but in a, not in your big arms have to go up and down way, but just in an expanding and releasing way. So here we go. So let's do it with just standing up and kind of small, like just feel yourself get bigger and then settle back down to the earth in a more subtle way than we normally do. We'll get to the bigger breathing in a minute. Expanding outward and coming back in. And you can bend your knees, feel the ground beneath your feet, connecting to the earth. Inhale, open, expand, exhale, settling down, calming down. Inhale, open, exhale, release, inhale. Let it start to get bigger and exhale. And maybe we'll go like 5 breaths till we get to our biggest. Exhale, that was 2, 3, exhale out. Another one, 4, getting a little bit bigger. And then 5, all the way. And then let's continue on the beginning, beginning it. And we're going to inhale, chest, lungs, heart, open to the ceiling. Exhale, bend your knees, drop it down to the floor. Inhale, stretch up and lift. And exhale all the way down. Relax your head and neck. Inhale, lift and open. Exhale, soften and release. And one more. Inhale, lift and open. Exhale, take it down to the floor and just shift from side to side. Butt going from side to side, traveling through your spine, through your tail. So tail is moving, legs are pushing from one side to the other. Maybe not going for your biggest hamstring stretch, but more for movement. You could even be up here, just shifting from side to side with your hands on your knees. A little bit of freedom in your spine. Head tail connection coming online and then rolling it all the way up. Circles with your pelvis. One direction. And then the other direction. I'm actually doing it with straight legs right now. And then let's bring our feet a little closer together, circling your knees. Just getting your body into motion without it having to be huge. Change direction, other way. Wakening up. Awakening your body. And let's go with spirals, twisting, looking around behind you. I'll shut this curtain. Breathing in whatever way feels good to breathe. But imagine that as we're doing these twists, that we're moving our rib cage, lungs, and heart, which we are. They cannot help but move if you're spiraling your body. And that the surfaces between the ribs and the inside, the ribs and the lungs, and then also the lungs and the heart, there's like a lot of slidey glidiness around there. So they're not stuck together and the whole thing's moving like this. There's capacity to move around within that. Let's do this mudra thing again. Rubbing your hands together, coming into prayer at the heart. You are going to keep your hands touching as you come into your solar plexus, fingers into your solar plexus, thumbs are touching, and then opening into the offering. Comes in, thumbs touching. I'm touching my solar plexus with my fingers and then coming up into prayer. So prayer into this, into this, trying to keep the connection of your hands. And like I'm doing this and I can see my hands in the video in front of me, but I could also try and do it with my eyes closed, right? Just feeling into it. I was trying to do all these hand things last night. My mom sent me this article about hands and how people are losing dexterity because they're not learning cursive in school. And the other and you know we if we put all our dishes in the dishwasher, we're never getting those little fine motor skills of like just being able to cleanly, clearly do something with our hands. So little in life requires that, unless you play an instrument or needlepoint or something like that, something where our hands really have to be specific. So I started doing this exercise last night. You're going to do it. You're going to close your eyes. You're going to point your fingers and you're going to come together and see if you can just touch the tips of your fingers together in front of you, of your pointer finger without looking. So fingers in front of you, trying to find that you may miss. That's okay. Just notice where the connection is. I spent some time doing this last night. So right out in front of you, don't cheat, don't look, just feel into it. Try moving your head and seeing if you can still find your fingers in the same place, fingertips. And then we're going to go up over your head. So over your head, try to find and I actually spent time laying down doing this. Ooh, where are they? There they are. Eyes closed. Yeah, you can see like on top of my head, it's not as good, but we should be able to learn by making mistakes, like eventually go, oh yeah, it's right there. But I keep having one of my hands just slightly lower than the other. Then try it down below you. So open your eyes to cheat and see what I'm doing, but try to keep your eyes closed as you're touching fingers together. Just, oh, can I find this in my kinesthetic awareness? Can my body know? So this is proprioception, right? Proprioception is moving your body in relationship to something else. Do we need our eyes open to be able to find our hands? Good exercise to just practice on your own. Rubbing your hands together one more time. We're going to go through the lymph flush very gently. Right hand to left collarbone. I'm using my fingers to kind of grab onto my skin and move the whole area. So I'm not just digging in and jamming my fingers in there. I'm moving the whole area. I'm going to go collarbone up to my angle of the jaw, getting around there, sort of up and down my sternocleidomastoid. Opening up this space. And this is my right hand to my left, very gently. If this is painful, go softer, go lighter, listen to your own body. We want to start to discern what is an appropriate amount of touch, how deep should I go, and be more subtle about it. Sometimes people don't feel anything until you're totally jammed in there, right? I'm like, wow, that is some dense, that is some unsubtlety, unsubtle awareness. So we want to come to subtle awareness of sensation in our body. Left hand to right collarbone. So I'm kind of going up above in this indentation and then a little bit below as well. Yeah, and as I've said this before, I think his name was Dr. Fiore or something like that, wrote on one of my things, you shouldn't be teaching these things that you don't know anything about. I'm like, well, I do know things about this. This is something that I study. He's like, you're going to damage everyone's capillaries and their lymph nodes. I'm like, not if they touch themselves with awareness. We need to develop some awareness coming up around the angle of the jaw so that you're not ripping your insides apart simply by touching on the outside. But I do appreciate that for some people, and as we age, the integrity of our tissue gets a lot less organized. So this is one way to keep it more organized through touch. We're demanding something of the tissue and then it goes, oh, okay. Coming into here, just above your nostril, little circle in there. And here I go very gently. But I'm going to move my face around too, right? Just going to invite my sinuses and the mucus in there to move so it's not all jammed up. But this is a lymph point from Dr. Perry Nicholson. And then I'm just going to circle under and go in under here. Again, I'm going softer. Tempo and depth can just be discerned by listening to your body. Squishing up, mobilizing the tissue in my face so that the fluids inside can reorganize, re-assimilate if they need to. All right, shake it out. Coming to right hand onto your armpit pec. And this, we're again developing that sensitivity with our hands, right? We are doing something with our hands. Other side. And we're feeling it. So armpit pec, there's a lot of lymph nodes under here. I highly recommend looking at the lymphatic system on the Google. See what you see, right? You can get an image, a map for it. And it's not like you're trying to touch every single little one, but just getting these basic return pathways cleared up first. Coming into cisterna-chyli, right between your belly button and your xiphoid process, in and up. I'm going to do some diaphragmatic breathing. So I'm going to do a big sniff through my nose and then a strong exhale as I'm pulsing in and up here. So this is a pulse. The tempo is different. It's kind of like you're joggling something at the same time you're doing something. A little bit of small, gentle vibration with, because my abs engaging diaphragmatic breathing, that is great for your lymph nodes as well. Lymphatic system, pumping that lymph. Good. Around the inguinal folds, coming in. This I'm pretty much rubbing over the top. And this is something you can do every day and become more skillful with your sensitivity to touching yourself, taking it behind your knees. Also, working your hands so that we're keeping those hands in the game. And then I'm going to come around the front of my knees. This is just what my body wants. You can go behind your knees. I'm going to show you this article. Where is it? I think it's from the Vancouver Sun. And it is this, the power of the pen. It's this whole article on how we've lost dexterity in our hands that my mom sent me. But at the same time, I'm also hearing about people in a class where like they can't, can you do this? Let's do one more thing. You're going to take your finger down, second finger down, third finger down, fourth finger down. Index finger, middle finger, ring finger, pinky. Index finger, middle finger, ring finger, pinky. If you can't do that, maybe work on it. Go backwards. Pinky, middle finger, ring finger, middle finger, index finger. Can you do it? And the way that we do that is by inhibiting the other ones. Like when our hands want to all go together to grab, right? But if we just do one, now do it finger to thumb. Go back and forth. Remember, like when we used to have abacus, we had to count things on an abacus or do something. So much of the stuff that as people we would have had to do 100, 200, 5,000 years ago, we don't have to do now. We push a button. Now we're good at this or this, right? That's not the same thing. All right, that's my lecture. Let's take it down to the floor. Hands matter. And it's good for our brains. It's not just the hands. It's that also like when we do something, writing out with our hands, it informs our memory in a different way than typing. All right, taking it down to the floor. Just relax down there for a second. Feel the gravitational pull of the earth holding you. You can nestle into the ground. So let's just do that. Wiggle your spine, free up your head-tail connection. As I'm wiggling my spine here, I'm inviting the holding of my body, of how Laura holds her posture, to just let go a little bit and get easier and more fluid. I am also massaging out my sacrum. I'm sending movement to my organs and getting this ripply head-tail connection going. And then from there, we're just going to do the knee drop, opening and closing, lower half of the body, massaging through your hips and butt. So a lot of people I've been hearing have sore, and it happens to me too, have like soreness in their hips. There's like, when we talk about soreness in our hips, it could be in a lot of different places. For me, it often happens if I walk a lot, my greater trochanter, this outer knob of my femur head, gets kind of tight. So rolling across and just massaging on the ground, taking it deeper if you want, is a great way to let that tissue rehydrate in a way that isn't the same as walking, right? We need to put our body in different relationships to the earth, different relationships to gravity, and that will naturally help our bodies rehydrate areas or reintegrate fluids in our system in different areas. Movement hydrates tissue. Then we also have to make sure that we're getting enough hydration, that we are drinking water and not just things that dehydrate us. And let's come in, pelvis up, circles with your hips. Again, this is doing some different type of movement that's different than walking, right? We're working our back muscles, we're working our glutes, circling around, change direction the other way. As I'm doing this, I'm letting my head free up a little bit. So I'm not just locking it, staring at the ceiling. It's kind of going away from the direction of my pelvis. Like that feels good and gives me a massage in my shoulders, in my upper traps. Good. And then let's come in, roll it down through your spine. Take your legs up, give them a shake. Shake, shake, shake. Wake up your feet, wake up your ankles, spread out your toes, wiggle them around. So the same thing with our feet. If we just jam them in shoes all the time, we're limiting a lot of movement. And that, not having the movement in our feet, can also cause pain in our rest of our body, because our feet, when they're in shoes that don't have a lot of mobility, the parts of our feet that should be sort of taking the movement of our walking are kind of locked up, and then other parts of our body have to deal with that. Go to a quick happy baby pose, wiggle around in your baby. The ongoing lecture on body and movement that is my class. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Let it go. Let's take our hands behind our head. Actually, let's use weights. So if you have weights, grab them. I have that ball. Where is it? It's over there. I'm going to use the ball, the weighted ball, which is 8 pounds. Is it 8 pounds? It is 8 pounds. And you could also use a set of small weights, like one or two light weights held together. That's normally what I do. But today I've got my weighted ball. I'm going to bring my knees together, feet are pigeon-toed and knock-kneed, and I'm circling the ball around my body. Adding this weight extended out away from center requires more work. And I'm getting a massage through my shoulders as I circle around. And especially as we age, we want to make sure that we're doing exercise with some weight. It doesn't have to be a lot, it can be very light, but adding something so that we're working with the integrity of the fascia and the bone density. Circling around. So when I was a kid growing up, I was in like choir and school, in middle school and in high school. Relax for a second. And we had like keyboard class where we had to learn a little bit about playing and reading music and stuff like that. But now I live with a musician who's okay, let's take our legs together, arms over our head. You're just going to come up. Legs go out to 45, arms over your head. Inhale. And so at some point, and he's a pianist and a multi-instrumentalist and just an overall genius, composer, all the things. And so when we first started dating, we used to do this thing called drum circle. And we just played music together. And I've played, I'd say I've played music lightly throughout my life. And he's played music intensely throughout his life. So the rule at drum circle, and we could play any instrument. Usually it was a drum, maybe it was a ukulele or something like that. The rule was you had to stay in rhythm with the other person. You could play the wrong notes, you could mess things up, but you had to always keep returning to rhythm with the other person. And it's music if you maintain the rhythm, even if you mess things up. All right, let's take the ball and you're going to cross. So you're going to kick, or you have your weights, arms over your head, arms go one way, leg goes the other way. So then later on, I said, will you give me a piano lesson? So he's like, okay. So we actually just worked on scales, right? Really basic, like C, C major, and how my fingers should be playing on the piano in C major. So we worked on that. And the rule was, if I'm going to practice, then I couldn't be practicing like bonk, 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 bonk. Like it had to be rhythmic. And I had to try and hit the keys with the same intensity all the time. And this is all I practiced for a while. How my fingers are moving and how much intensity. So that the sound of each note was the same as the next sound, the same volume. Take your hands on your knees and make circles. And I feel like that training was really great because it's like if you're in rhythm and you're making sounds that are in alignment with the next sound and the sound that came before, you're making music. And then from there, I was like able to start improvising with those basic rules, like stay in a rhythm and try to hit your notes evenly, unless you're actually trying to go hard, right? But all of this is really just a lesson about thinking and about manual dexterity and the relationship between our hands and touch, right? How I touch the piano could be how I touch myself, how I touch, how much intensity I put into something. And these are just the reason I'm talking about this is because we don't think about this often. We aren't taught to think this way, or I wasn't, except for in like art and like theater places. Let's go one leg at a time, in and out. Now I feel like the world is getting more sort of aware about a lot of things. But if you think of how you play your guitar or your instrument as how you touch another person, how you connect to people, do you care about your rhythm? Do you care about your volume? Like, I don't mean it's all loud or it's all quiet, but just keeping an even volume. Good, relax, shake it out. And let's press our pelvises up again. You're going to reach towards your ankles. If you can touch them, great. If you can't, no worries. From there, you're going to interlace your hands behind your butt. Again, if you can, great. If you can't, no worries. Walk your shoulders close together. Increase your arch, and you're going to lift up to your tippy toes and lower. Tippy toes and lower. Ankle, calf, foot, up and down. Press up, trying to push up the whole time so back body is working. Extensors of the back, hamstrings and glutes, erector spinae, all those muscles in your back body. And then we're going to flex our feet up. Let's go flex your toes and then flex your whole foot. Just the toes, whole foot. Just the toes, whole foot. So I'm going toes up, toes down, whole foot, and lower. Toes up, toes down, whole foot, lower. Up, down, and up and down. 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Good. And release your hands, open it up, and roll it down through your spine. This is something also like dance trains you. If you are listening to it and paying attention, is how to follow the rhythm of the music, how to keep in the rhythm. Right? This is really an important thing for people because rhythm can connect us. Culture, connect communities. Rhythm, movement, moving together in harmony is very co-regulating for our community. Let's take our hands behind our head, one leg in, one leg out, going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why do they teach soldiers how to march? So that they can work together and think together and feel like the same. They have a sense of connection to each other. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Also, it's easier to control people that are moving together, right? Oh, we're going to make you all move the same way. Makes you sort of start to think the same way. And then we can tell you what to do. So anyway, just thinking about these things. How does movement play out in our lives? Arms over your head, legs down, coming up, pulsing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Toes to the floor. Roll through your foot. Point your toes, coming up. 2, 3, 4, 5. Toes touch down. Roll it down to the floor. Roll it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Toes touch. Roll it down. Roll it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Toes touch. Roll it down. Roll it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Toes touch. Roll and up. 1, 2. Using the muscles of your feet toes touch, working through your metatarsals, heel to the floor, back to the metatarsals, point your toes up. 2, 3, 4, 5. Touch your toes, roll it down, wake up those feet, bring it back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Toes touch, roll it down, roll it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Toes touch, roll it down, roll it up. Last one, up. 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax. Wiggle up your spine, free flow your spine, free your relationship between your head, your ribs, and your pelvis. So there's some ease in there. It's not all clamped down and locked up. Freedom, feeling. Let's just stop for a second. Free up your head, let your body be still. So your head is mobile, your body is stable. And then stabilize your head and stabilize your pelvis and just wiggle your ribs as much as possible. It might be hard to stabilize those other things, but to see if you can. And release. And then stabilize your head and your ribs. Wiggle your pelvis. Let that go. Right? If we want to bring our awareness into an area, it's helpful if we can move that area. All right, let's come onto our sides. And we're going to take the bottom leg forward and the top leg back, top arm forward. I'm going to really work this diagonal through my body, crossing the front and then the back. Reach it out, open it up. So not stabilizing in the torso now. The part of us that is stable is the part of us that's touching the floor, right? Our lower half. But the upper body is really getting this nice contralateral movement, cross-body movement, good for our brains. Last one, reach it out. Let's come up. You can put your head in your hand if you want here. You're going to reach. Actually, do you want to? How does this work? No, maybe better not to. Reach out, elbow and knee together. Reach on the diagonal, bring it in. Reach it out. Catch that star. Reach it out. Bring it in. Reach, bring it in. Reach, bring it in. 5 more. 5. Grabbing with your hand. 4. Extend, radiate out. 3, 2. Last one. And grab onto your foot. Quad stretch. You can internally and externally rotate that thigh. And then kick back into your hand with your foot. So foot is reaching into the back space. Release, internal, external rotation. Kick it back. And release, internal, external rotation. Kick it back. And let it go. Roll onto your back and just turn your head and neck from side to side. Relax your jaw. Free flow your head, but let this move through your spine. So we're not trying to stabilize everything, giving some freedom to our body. And then we're going to flip it to the other side. Same thing on the other side. Starting with this, you're in a pike in your lower body, opposite arm to leg. Inhale, open. As you open the top, exhale as you reach forward. 2, go for 10, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then elbow and knee towards each other and reach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Grab with your hand. Grab and pull. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And relax. Grab your ankle, stretch your quad. So one of the reasons I started pole dancing was because I had read about how much grip strength correlates with longevity. But it's not about the grip strength. It's not that your hand is strong. It's that your hand can't be strong if there isn't strength all the way, right? So grip strength is going to be also forearm strength, is going to be strength all the way into your heart and lungs. Maybe not to your heart, hopefully to your heart. But I feel like a lot of dudes have good grip strength, but they don't have great hearts. Why is that? They probably don't move their ribs and heart and chest very much. They also may bottle up all their feelings. Also, women have a lot of heart attack stuff, but right, if emotions are being stuffed away and bottled up, that can cause heart problems. In my non-scientific way of looking at life, and then kick back. Experiential, looking at life, looking at what I see. And our culture tends to think that all consciousness is coming from our head, but other cultures used to think consciousness was coming from your heart. So, we have different drivers in the way that we deal with the world. And release. Come onto your back, shake it all out. Let's roll back and forth, rolling through your spine. And a lot of those can just be cultural, right? Oh, this is what we think in my culture. It must be true. Let yourself come up to your feet if you can. If you can roll up so that you come forward, go for it. You can take it to a plow and then forward if that feels okay. You could also be standing up. And if you can't get this coordination yet, it may never happen, but it also might happen. So don't give up. And then let's come onto all fours. So switching it around. Onto all fours. We're actually just going to crawl to the back of our mat. Oop, hello, kitty. Of course, the cat walks in just as I'm in my crawling. And then crawl forward to the edge of your mat. A little bit of all fours, hands, knees on the floor. Bringing in this contralateral pattern of crawling. Forwards and backwards. If you need more padding, get yourself more padding. And then let's come in. We're going to come up and then down part way. Pressing up, coming down. Pushing up, coming down. Pushing up, coming down. This being able to lift and push up to come, this is like being able to get out of your seat, right? As we get older, sometimes people have a hard time getting up. They really need to push with their arms. Want to keep some of that strength in our legs. And then let's take it onto hands and knees. We're going to go out, take it on the diagonal, bring it back in, and come down. Reach it out, diagonal, in, and down. I'm having all sorts of relationship problems with the plant and the chair here. So just adjusting my mat out, diagonal, bring it in, and down. Out, diagonal, in, down. Long, diagonal, reach, radiating away from center, opening, bringing it back to midline and lower. And you could think of these lines like the two sides of my body being like two parallel lines, but I'm coming up, taking it into a diagonal where I'm actively reaching hand and foot away from each other, bringing it back to center and lower. Parallel lines, finding a diagonal, bringing it in, lower. Up, out, in, down. Up, out, in, down. Last set, both sides. Last one. And coming down, elbows to the floor. Let's interlace our hands, push the floor away with our forearms, and then arch, push, and arch. So with this position, when you push, if you want to, you can try lifting your knees up off the floor, just an option. Arch, round, push knees up or not, touch it down. Arch, push, arch. Last one. And relax. Cat hair is going up my nose. I saw a New Yorker cartoon that had a person who was like looked like they were covered in fur, like their whole body was like a yeti or something. And it said, and the thing was, oh no, no, you don't understand. I live with cats. So the person looked like a monster because they were covered in cat hair. I'm like, that is my life. I always show, I'm like, anyway, if we get a new dryer, maybe I will not be covered in cat hair so much. Let's take it into a forearm plank. One knee to the floor at a time, going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Crossing under 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One more thing, optional, pushing forward and backward. Good. And take it down into the floor, legs, flip flop. Let's go with opposite arm to leg. Inhale up, exhale down. Again, cross body movement. Good for our brains, good for our nervous system. And take your hands next to your chest, upper body. Use your breath. See how high you can go with no hands. And then add your hands, pressing all the way up. Use your breath. Try bending your knees. A couple of times. Last one. And take it back into a child's pose. Melt, wiggle around, soften, release. We'll shift your weight back towards your heels and come up. And let's let's do a little bit more arm stuff. But let's do that with weights standing. So if you have weights, grab them. I have got these 2 sets of 3-pound weights. So I am going to do both like 6 pounds in each hand. You can adjust it however feels good to you. Do more, do less, no weights at all. We're going to do a bend your knees, legs parallel, legs together, bend, straighten, press up, come down, bend, straighten, push, lower, bend, straighten, push, lower, bend, straighten, push. Turn out your feet just as far as they go without forcing anything. And knees over your toes, bend, straighten, push, and lower, bend, straighten, push, lower, bend, straighten, push, lower, bend, straighten, push, lower down, widen your heels, bend, straighten, push, lower, bend, straighten, push, lower, bend, straighten, push, lower, bend, straighten, push, turn out, knees over your toes, bend, straighten, push, bend, straighten, push, bend, straighten, push. Last one, bend and straighten and push and relax. Circling one shoulder and then the other. Get rid of weights if you need to. Lift your elbow like you're starting a lawnmower. And I'm really letting my upper body move. So I'm not trying to do it like this. Upper body is adjusting. Let's go forward, just the shoulder. and then shoulder and elbow. Then we're going to do, how does this work? Arms go up, flip them, rotate out, rotate in, turn and drop. Bend, rotate out, in, flip, drop, up, spiral, out, in, flip, drop, up, spiral, open, close. 4 more. 3, 2, and last one. Good. Take it down, bend your knees, arch your back, stick out your butt, flies going out to the side. 1. We'll go for 8. 2, 3. Get lower if you can, so you're working your back. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And get rid of your weights. So just a little bit of weight. And let's do just a circle on the right and a circle on the left. So a little more free flow in your body. Feel the suspension at the top. Let the arms really fall. Breathing, head going off vertical, mobilizing upper versus lower. Breathe. Come in, shake everything out. Inhale, open. Exhale, radiate out and down. Inhale, lungs, heart, chest. Feel your fingertips. Exhale out. Let's go up a little differently, or we'll go up the same. Going up and then rain coming down. And go up. And then jazz hands, shaking it out, coming down. And go up. That was shaking. Sparkle fingers. What are sparkle fingers? They're like opening and closing. Good. Shake it out, shake it out. And then just one regular breath up. Let's come down in prayer. So hands together, you're centering your energy, bringing it in. And then we can do that mudra here to 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 there. Just trying to stay connected as you start it. Finish it off the way we started it. Hello, hands. Yeah, all of that stuff is really important for the humans. I gotta say, I feel like we've run off in the wrong direction in a lot of ways with our dexterity, with our relationship to our body, all the things. Anyway, if you have made it through this in TV land, hallelujah. I see there is a person joining. Please like, subscribe, comment, all